So the elections have come and gone. There was, as expected, widespread massive irregularities and accusations of corruptions by almost all parties, except for the ANC, of course. It was always going to be this way, and nobody should be surprised by it. The elections were, in effect, an absolute farce, and nobody should see the results as anything resembling the will of the people. There have been widespread calls from at least 35 political parties calling for the elections to be declared null and void, and are now threatening legal action. We truly have a typical Zimbabwe situation here now. So what now, you might ask? Well, the elections have been declared free and fair by the IEC as expected, and we are stuck with the same corrupt bunch in control for another 5 years. The ANC, like ZANU-PF, will not change. They are incapable of changing, contrary to what they might say. They simply do not have the collective intellect or skills to run a country properly, even if it was their only goal, which it is not. Let us start with the most vital service in the country, Eskom. Without power, we have nothing. Eskom has, over the last month at least, been running its diesel generators flat out to keep the lights on until after the elections. This has come at a massive cost and is quite frankly totally unsustainable. Eskom is burning diesel at a rate of over 2.5 million litres per day. I'd hate to see the diesel bill right now. I bet they were counting on paying that diesel bill with money loaned from China. Unfortunately, China has apparently withheld a loan worth billions because they believe that the money will not be used to do repairs to the power stations as promised, but rather to plug financial holes all over the place, such as the diesel bill and massive salaries for the elites. This means that Eskom now has another enormous bill to pay, which I'm sure they can't. This also means that now that the elections are over, we will very soon be plummeted into darkness again with heavy load shedding due to the fact that they will just not be able to maintain the mounting costs of diesel. The steam turbine generators are in such a state of disrepair that they cannot even come close to supplying the demand. I now hear that Zimbabwe is looking to South Africa and Mozambique to supply them with power in order to avoid load shedding. How is it possible that South Africa could supply them with power when we can't even keep our own lights on? In my opinion, the looming power crisis is going to become the deciding factor in the future of this country. The fact that the ANC are still running the country is of no consequences. It would have been the same had any other party won the elections. A crisis of epic proportions is about to hit South Africa, and we have to be ready for it. Please take another look at my video from 3 weeks ago, where I'll go over some essential items that will be needed in this situation. Pay particular attention to hygiene items, as when the power goes down, we will lose our water supply as well. This means no flush toilets and all the health issues that go along with that. Even if you are able to carry water that you have in storage to the toilet and flush it, that water will be coming up out of the nearest manhole on the pavement outside, because the pump stations that pump the sewage away will no longer be working. Associated diseases such as cholera will become common. It is quite possible that we will be facing the exact scenario that I forecast in another previous video, where I described how when Eskom fails totally, we progress to a state of total anarchy within a week or so. Will this happen for sure? Who knows? It could. I think the chances of it happening are greater than it not happening. The situation in South Africa is so unstable right now that anything is possible. Now is the time to do as much preparation as you possibly can. I know that there are many of you that can't afford to go out and buy thousands of rands worth of supplies and equipment. You're not alone, neither can I. What you can do right now, though, is to fill whatever containers you can with fresh, clean water. Water is freely available all over at the moment, and I assure you it will become the most valuable commodity within a couple of days of the power going down. So store as much as possible now. As we know, Ramaphosa has already said that they were going to change the constitution to make it possible and legal to expropriate land without compensation. This was a promise he made to the masses, and now that the elections are over, the masses are going to insist on it. Unfortunately, the masses are not the people who will benefit from land expropriation. The Chinese and the ANC are. when the masses start to get the idea that they are not going to be the benefactors, things are going to go pear-shaped pretty quickly. So what will the repercussions be for the country, the economy, and for you and I? Because of the massive amount of irregularities that happened during the elections and all the calls by a lot of the political parties to have the elections declared invalid, it is going to depend on how the supporters of these parties handle having a technically illegitimate result forced on them. We all know how they deal with things like this. So it is possible that we might be seeing some serious protest action soon with the violence that normally goes along with it. Unfortunately, it is seldom the government that bears the brunt of these protests, but rather the man in the street, the motorist, the shopkeeper, the truck driver, etc. This could very well be the spark needed to set off total anarchy in this country. Only time will tell. As for the economy, we can only expect more of the same. The ANC does not have the capacity to pull this country out of the nosedive it is in right now, not in an intellectual or a moral capacity. We will now see this country descend into a death spiral that there will be no recovery from, unfortunately. Leading economists have already predicted that the rand will drop to levels as low as 40 to 60 rand to the dollar this year. That's 2019. People such as Magnus Haystack and Davy Rood have also advised that anyone who has money in the bank here should get it out as soon as humanly possible. If this applies to you, I hope you heed these experts' advice, because when the rand crashes, so will your life savings if it is sitting in a South African bank. Do not let this happen to you. There are a few certainties now. Firstly, life is going to get much, much more expensive for everybody. Expect there to be massive increases in the prices of things such as fuel, power, and food. The consumer, who is already under severe pressure, and that's most of us, will be put under even more pressure. Poverty and homelessness is going to become a huge problem among the middle and lower class minorities in South Africa. The taxpayer in this country, who is already under severe pressure, is going to be bled dry because they are the only source of money now. In my opinion, it is going to become a decision for many lower middle class people whether or not to keep working, because they are going to end up working just to pay their fuel bill to get to work and back, with very little left over to live on. There is already talk of a predicted fuel price of 35 to 55 rand per litre very soon. With all of these increases, which are unfortunately inevitable, how will the people lower down the food chain survive? Be prepared to tighten your belt to the point of suffocation or starvation and beyond. Secondly, the population of South Africa better prepare itself for widespread protest action and violence as the situation deteriorates at an increasing rate. This is where the threat to the minority groups, not just the whites, is going to come from. The worse the situation gets in this country, the more it is going to be blamed on the whites. We could eventually find ourselves in a situation where the black masses become quite convinced that the whites are indeed responsible for their predicament and have them embark on genocidal activities that could very well spark a race-based civil war. I've already discussed how this could go in a previous video, but people need to know that no matter who wins such a war, thousands, if not tens of thousands of people will die. There is no disputing that. Also, those that think that they will be spared the inconvenience of a civil war by their bank balances are going to be the first ones hit. So to sum up, the elections were a fraud. There is no denying that. They've been declared free and fair by the IEC, as if that was a big surprise. The majority of political parties are unhappy about it and are threatening legal action. Load shedding and a possible total collapse of Eskom is a distinct possibility in the very near future. If that happens, this country will face a severe health crisis very quickly. Crime will spiral out of control as raiding groups hit area after area for food, fuel, and anything else of value. From there, total anarchy will develop, and this is where things get very scary. Will this happen? In my opinion, we saw it happen in Zimbabwe, we saw it happen in Venezuela. If you follow a recipe to bake a chocolate cake with the ingredients of the recipe, there's only one type of cake that will come out of the oven. That's a chocolate cake. It is the same here. We are following the exact same recipe that Zimbabwe and Venezuela used with the same ingredients or methods. How can we possibly expect a different result? Be prepared, people. The money you spent on meat and alcohol for the braai you had yesterday could have bought you some vital supplies, life-saving supplies. It is my advice that you all start to see the severity and the volatility of the situation in South Africa and do whatever is necessary to be able to survive what could be in the pipeline very soon here, no matter how secure you might feel right now. Please like and share this video on as many other social platforms as possible. It is the only way my word gets out there. Please leave a comment as well. YouTube likes it when people interact with the videos and will promote it more because of it. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please click the subscribe button now. Also, click on the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. If you would like to support my channel and my efforts to prepare for what I term the coming crisis, I have provided a number of ways for local as well as international subscribers to do so. To those that have become supporters of my channel, I extend my sincere thanks and gratitude. Your contributions are very much appreciated. Until next time.